Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're talking about the one, the only, you guessed it, Caspa crypto. Now, you know me, I'm super high on Caspa. I believe Caspa is, without debating too much, without getting too political, I believe Caspa is a top 10 crypto in terms of its fundamentals and, what it brings to crypto. Okay, without getting too political, of course, right? Because everyone has a different opinion. But that is still amazing, regardless, even if I am downplaying Caspa a little bit right now. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, the coin fashion of the day is my wife doesn't believe I'm a crypto multi-millionaire. My wife doesn't believe I'm a crypto multi-millionaire. We have two houses now. We fly first class everywhere. She thinks I had to take on loans for the houses, and she thinks that I'm just irresponsible with my money. I've tried to show her how much we have, and she just calls it silly imaginary money. She just assumes I'm strapped for cash and clips coupons still. I think I have a good woman, but it's oddly emasculating since she won't notice we're rich. Okay, buddy, if this is true, what type of woman do you guys marry? Seriously, I don't know if this is true. What type of woman sees you have two houses, millions on an account, multi-millions, flies first class, and you're telling me she's just like, no? Personally, you know what? Everyone, I'm not here to say it, but get yourself a new woman. Get yourself a new woman. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But listen, this if this story is true, then you know what? I would feel like, yo, what the hell, man? Like, you're supposed to be my wife. Like, I'm literally showing you we're multi millions. Like, what do you mean it's fake money? How do you think the first class flight is fake? What are you saying here? Nah. But anyways, even if you did use coupons, well, what's wrong with saving money? What's wrong with saving money? Anyways, hopefully, everything works out well. Hopefully this is a little bit exaggerated. Hopefully your wife respects and loves you, my man. Listen, you know what? Something we love and we respect. It's Caspa over here, ladies and gentlemen. We can see Caspa's ranked 46 out of 9,551 active cryptos. 2.25 billion market cap, 25 million volume in the last 24 hours. And we can see, ladies and gentlemen, we're still not listed on Coinbase. We're still not listed at Binance. But I believe Coinbase and Binance are going to happen sooner than later. I believe, these exchanges are going to give in. Because at the end of the day, these exchanges might be bigger than some of the cryptos. In fact, most of the cryptos. But when the time comes, something like Caspa will stand tall, it will stand strong, and Binance is going to want Caspa more than Caspa is going to be wanted on Binance. Okay, and that is just the truth. Same with Coinbase, and same with any other exchange that's being iffy. We can see 89% bullish market sentiment and 11% bearish. There's no reason to be bearish, people. Things are looking good despite things being fairly slow over the last few weeks, last few months. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are kind of just in a triangle. We are just kind of going back and forth, and things are looking fairly decent, right? Things are looking fairly decent. We are getting squished from both sides. Okay, we are getting squished from both sides. We're getting squished from the top and we're getting squished from the bottom, ultimately meaning that we do have to make a choice. We can see the last few weeks, despite it being, technically bearish, the momentum has been really slow. I mean, look at these last few weekly candles. So obviously we had this big one at the end of July. Ever since then, August has been struggling, but it still has been very weak bearish momentum. Now, I still do believe based off this, based off what I see, there's zero evidence that we are going to go up right now. But I will say, don't get too discouraged, because any selling pressure should not be super, everything should be kind of short-lived, and it shouldn't be anything crazy. I do believe we most likely will create some type of triple bottom like this, where you have a bottom, a higher bottom, and then something like a higher bottom like right over here. So I do believe, there's a good chance we will be hitting that 7 cent mark, but we shouldn't really go much lower than that. And ultimately that we're looking to be breaking out of the zone. you can see we are running out of time. We really are running out of time. We don't have too much space to work with. Even if we wanted to go all the way to the very, very end, eventually we're just going to get squished, and we have to make a choice no matter what. Sooner than later, we have to make a choice. Now, if we go, ladies and gentlemen, and we look at something like the higher time frame, it is a mess. It is a mess because we have pretty much a double top in terms of closing. Technically, July is a little bit lower than this, so this is technically a lower high, but we pretty much have a double top like this, and we can see that the floors are rising on the monthly. 1, 2, 3. So like I said, we are running out of time. I still believe, right, despite the big rejections we've had in the last few months, I still believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 5, 6, pretty much 6 months worth of rejections. I still think because of these higher bottoms is that ultimately we are looking to be pushing up. I really, really do believe so, especially in terms of liquidity, in terms of structure. We really set ourselves up very, very, very well for liquidity to be taken out, for key points to be taken out, for the 12 cents to be taken out, for 13 cents to be taken out, and then for pretty much 16 cents to be taken out. And then we're probably going to stop and slow down roughly around this big area over here, the big structure, nice weekly candle, around the 18 to 19 cent mark before we see some type of consolidation, minor sell-off, right? We just say we go down here, we eventually sweep all this, we probably get something like this, boom, 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 eventually shift structure. We're going to start respecting these highs over here, and we're going to start blasting off. Now, I know this seems like a dream, this seems like a vision, but I'm very, very confident that something similar like this is going to happen. I can show you even a currency pair that looked really, really messy, but guess what? We hit that W trade. Why do we hit a W trade? Well, ladies and gentlemen, right, we can see we go to something like USD JPY. We can go something like this. Boom. If we go to something like the 4 hourly, right, this thing is just consolidating. I mean, it's been practically going sideways for a whole entire month. But I got this nice buy-in because I saw what? I saw a key bottom, another key bottom. We saw bottoms over here. We saw bottoms consistently rise, right? If I go to actually potential trades, USD JPY, we can see clear as day, right? Boom, this bottom, higher, higher, and higher, consistently higher, despite price being, very rejective. And then we had a nice rally. Okay, we had a nice rally. Now, obviously, this rally in a way was a little bit short-lived, but context matters for this pair. We don't know the context 100%, but it still made the move. And I ultimately think that's what's going to be happening to something like Caspa. But yeah, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.